Sandra, welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my Asexual Life. This is supposed to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my asexual life journey in order to help you and yours. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that great big subscribe button right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now or post a new video. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you find the content useful, helpful, insightful in any way, shape or form. So if you didn't know who I am Sandra Burmy, author of this awesome Asexual Perspectives 47 Asexual Stories book, and I'm also the author of this fibromyalgia self-help handbook, which teaches people how to manage fibromyalgia to have less pain, more energy and feel happier like a superhero rock star. It's autobiographical and it really helps if you've got depression, anxiety, even if you don't have fibro. So that is another awesome book. So yeah, writing is one of my hugest, biggest, deepest passions of my life, followed very closely by asexuality. So tonight I want to say a huge thank you to you for being part of my asexual community here. And this channel has gone from strength to strength. I'm now over 150,000 views on this channel. 150,000 views. Like, I couldn't even have imagined that in my most wildest dreams, that 150,000 people have actually landed on this channel. So I've got over 820 subscribers at the moment. So I'm really, really pleased that my community is growing slowly and steadily. The more and more people are joining the chat, more and more people are commenting and sharing their asexual experiences. And that's what this channel's about, and that's what you're about in this community, you know, helping to raise awareness, helping to share like minds and, you know, shared mutual interests. And I could not do this channel without you. I wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You know, every time you view this channel, every time you share it, every time you leave a thumbs up, anytime you react to it, it just, you know, really helps raise awareness of asexuality, because every time you view it and you click on it, the algorithm with the way YouTube works is it gets more visibility the more basically you have people commenting, sharing, liking, having some action taking on the channel. So the more you do that, you are encouraging other people to view my videos. So just by being part of my community here, by giving me a thumbs up, by sharing a video, by commenting in chat, by commenting in the actual in the comments down below, all this is really helping to raise awareness of asexuality. So if you are a type of person that's not out to the world about being asexual like I am, and maybe you're kind of shy and introverted, and you know, you're like, oh, I couldn't be like she is, but I'm glad she's there, and you do sometimes click on that like button. Maybe you've got your subscriptions or likes on private, so you don't want anyone to know, but you know, you give a silent little like, and maybe, you know, like you share it or something with another friend. And I just want to say, you know, you are equally as important as all those people that are sharing publicly as well, because without you and all the people here in this community, every single one of you that come across my channel doing something like that, the channel wouldn't grown into the way it is today. You know, I'm really proud of this channel. I'm very proud that this asexual channel is very different. You know, it's live streamed regularly. I'm always in your home, if you know, you're always in my bedroom with me, which is a bit weird considering I'm asexual, but you know, but yeah, as soon as I'm not that way inclined, it's fine. It's just like hanging out with a mate, isn't it? You know, and so I just wanted to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, for, you know, like every type of action you take on this channel. Even the people that give the channel a thumbs down, they're really helping the channel. You know, every time if there's a video they give a thumbs down to, they're still helping the channel to grow, because everything like action taking is actually an algorithm. So even to the people who are not so keen on some videos, sometimes I do want to share my love to them as well, because they're all helping to raise awareness, whether they realize it or not, you know. And so whatever, you know, actions you take, whatever you share, and however long you stay on the channel, it really makes a huge difference. And it's really important to get asexuality recognised as a sexual orientation throughout the globe, so that no asexual has to live in fear of ridicule ever again. That is my mission. That's my life mission. It always has been since I started this channel back in 2015. There's always been that passion, drive of mine to do that. And I'm still aiming for that, you know. I'm kind of like a smaller channel in terms of subs here, but I mean, in terms of views, over 150,000 is just incredible. Absolutely incredible. I mean, you know, there's tons of people that sit at home that don't do anything in regards to asexuality. They just hide behind a computer screen and go nothing. But you, who's watching this channel, you who likes my channel, who comments on it, who shares these videos, who is in chat, I cannot thank you enough. You know, because you are what helps the asexual community have visibility. You are what helps save people's lives. People do not realise how important it is for society to recognise asexuality. It is so important. It can save lives. Because it can save people from killing themselves because they know they're not alone. And it can also help prevent some sexual abuse. So, you know, either way, you've saved a life, you know? And that's why asexuality isn't just another sexual orientation, or isn't just, oh, it's just that. Why share it? Why bother? This is why it's important for us to share it. It's important for us to raise more awareness of it as a whole community, because we need people to know in the world that there are people that don't want sex out there, you know. And it's all very well us being part of LGBT plus QIA, right? But that doesn't show asexuality in its most purest form of what it actually means, and that is the lack of sexual attraction, because those in the LGBT plus community predominantly are still very sexually driven, you know. And we need to get it recognized separately, because we need people to know categorically there are people in the world that don't want sex. We need children to be able to not fear and grow up as teenagers knowing they can get love without sex, right? Wherever you go in the media and articles, television, newspapers, wherever you go, it's always love and sex go together. Television programs, it's all over there. Oh, right, you know, if you love me, you'll have sex. Once you get love, you get sex. Once you have sex, you get love. It's just so destructive. So destructive. What about the people that want love without sex? What about them? What about the teenagers that don't want to go that far yet? Then maybe they do want sex later on, but they keep getting told, oh, right, if you want an adult proper relationship, you've got to be having sex. It's just a load of rubbish. Absolute load of rubbish, you know. And my heart goes out to all the people in the world that really don't fit into that sexual box, that really think there's something weird and strange about them because they don't like sex, and that they'll never ever find anyone else like them. You know, I've been messaging a guy for the first time on ASAP tonight, who's actually in the UK. He lives not too far away from me. And, you know, and he was saying that he thought he was weird, you know, that he was the only one that wanted a relationship or romance without sex. And when you realise there's more people like you, it just opens up the floodgates to like the fact that, oh my God, you kind of wake up to the reality that not everyone wants sex, not everyone likes it, not everyone needs to get the urge for it. But that's not how society is trying to program everyone. That's not how society wants us to see, because obviously sex sells. It sells lingerie, it sells food products, it sells things like Viagra, it sells things, you know, like sexy clothing, it sells like books, it sells like movies, it sells paintings, it sells pretty much everything. And so, you know, if more and more people realise that sex isn't a thing that everyone likes and enjoys, then, you know, it kind of like is more depleting those type of businesses. Hello, Liam. Lots of love. Thanks for the thumbs up. Love you. Love you as my beautiful community person here. Lots of love to you. Yeah, so it's very important that we do get asexuality recognised as a sexual orientation globally, because we don't want people growing up thinking they have to have sex in order to be loved. I thought that, basically, that I, you know, well, when I was 16, I was like pressured into having sex, wasn't I? And it's kind of, but it wasn't just that. It was like everyone's doing it. So my age, you know, there's such an age thing about it. It's like, oh, when you get to a certain age, you're meant to be doing that. But if you don't want to do that, it doesn't matter what age you are, whether you're blooming 15, which is underage, or 55 or 105. You know, if you don't want it, you don't want it at the end of the day. And I just think it's such a bad message to be sending out to the whole world that, you know, sex and love go together, but they really don't. And I was having a conversation on my Facebook that sex isn't even passion. Passion's all the things that lead up to sex and surrounding it. The actual act of intercourse is not passionate in and of itself. It's the other things you're doing with your arms and legs and other bits of the body. Do you know what I mean, really? That thing is just a stick it in thing. Do you know what I mean? That's why I love passion without sex. I don't want any type of sex, and I prefer keeping my clothes on. So, you know, I think it's such a bad message, and that's why it's so important that there are asexual channels out there. There are people raising awareness, that you are really helping to contribute to this community, and that really goes for you, Liam. I mean, you have been on this channel absolutely loads, month after month, in chat, commenting, and I was saying, you know, before you joined tonight, that it really helps raise awareness of asexuality, because the more you interact with my channel, the more YouTube shows my videos basically to other people. So more people will come across my channel and they're like, oh, what is this? Liam, sex is really nothing. Yeah. It's so overrated. I mean, I've had sex in the past, but I don't miss it. I really don't miss it. I'm glad I don't have it anymore. I don't want to have it. You know, 9 years I've been sex free now, and I'm really glad. Because to me, I've never, ever, ever associated sex with love. Never. It's just two completely different things. You know, and I really love romance and kissing and cuddling, but sex is just like, really? Do I have to be doing that? It's like, it's not what I want to be doing with my life. You know, and I just prefer to be in a guy's cuddle in his arms, having a really intelligent conversation, being loved. You know what I mean? And I look for qualities in a guy where he's paying me time and attention. You know, it's like the guy in ASAP tonight that I've just started talking to. I could tell like he's not really paying attention to me. And so I think you're busy now, so I'll go basically, and you know, if you want to message me, carry on, message me, and then I'll reply when I can. And then he replied, well, I'll reply when I can. So obviously he must be busy, but I would rather have him said, yeah, you're right, I am busy, I'm doing X, Y, and Z at the moment, so that's why I can't message you back, rather than just like kind of going off. Do you know what I mean? So first impressions really last, I think, you know, and that includes, you know, like if you're pushing for sex, if someone's pushing you for sex, you know, I don't push for sex because I don't want it. You know, and you know, I think for me personally, when I meet a guy, I always listen to what he's saying. And it doesn't matter, even if I really end up liking him a lot, if I know there's something in the conversation that he said that's not favourable to me being in a relationship with him, even if I'd want one, I feel that I still know I can't trust that relationship, because I know there's something he said before to put me off. For example, I can't be with a guy who cuddles his friends. I categorically can't be with a guy like that, because I don't believe that's the right thing to do. There are a lot of asexuals that like doing that, but for me, I do not want a guy like that. To me, that is not being monogamous. I am fiercely monogamous, you know. I do not expect my guy to go around cuddling his friends. It's completely off limits. To me, that would be like cheating. And I know to some asexuals that's completely not cheating, because they're used to doing that. It's the way they live their life. But it's all about different values and beliefs, you know. And on this channel, I cover the whole asexual spectrum, which is quite rare. You know, a lot of the other channels, they don't do like a live chat show like I do regularly. And they don't really cover the whole spectrum as such. They do talk about different parts of the spectrum. I'm always covering a lot of it, from those that are complete sex repulsed or even romance repulsed, all the way through to those that are sex favorable and having it. Do you know what I mean? So, and those that don't want any romance whatsoever. So, you know, I like to cover all the spectrum. I think it's important. But you know, like first impressions really do count. And you know, like when people come on this channel, you know, I get a lot of people that aren't asexual coming onto the channel, you know. But we need to get through to the people that aren't asexual as well, not just asexuals, because we need to spread awareness of asexuality. You know, it's only by spreading awareness to people that aren't of our own kind that we're going to be able to make strides and leaps forward in raising asexual awareness globally into the mainstream market, if you know what I mean. So, but what I was saying with impressions last is, like, for me personally, you know, impressions count, you know, and so everyone who views my channel, they're going to be people that aren't going to view my channel and not subscribe, especially if they're sexual, because they'll be kind of like, oh, what's this about? Oh yeah, but it doesn't fit me, so off I go. But they're still gonna like have known about asexuality just from popping on here. Do you know what I mean? And there's going to be like people who really cringe when I say some sex, talk about sex, because they're completely sex repulsed and want to throw up, which I understand because I cover all the asexual spectrum. If I was just a sex repulsed channel, then obviously I wouldn't be talking so much about sex and wouldn't be writing a asexual guide to sex book in if I was repulsed for other people having sex, which I'm not, just per me personally these days, right? So is this channel's like kind of like the whole spectrum, and some people don't like to talk about certain topics that I do. I bring up a lot of taboo subjects as well. I do talk about a lot about dating relationships, whereas there's a lot more people who are aromantic in the asexual community, so they lack romantic attraction. So when I talk about dating relationships, a lot of the time they can't necessarily relate to it, but I have to say that a lot of the stuff that I talk about in terms of doing relationships are actually transferable into friendships. But people don't necessarily realize that. So a lot of the time when I talk about relationships, I'm going to take my dressing gown off because I'm getting really hot in here. So a lot of the time when I talk about relationships, a lot of the qualities you would look for in a relationship, also many of them fall into friendship as well, because friendship is the ultimate relationship. And also it's a foundation of a strong romantic relationship if you want a romantic relationship. Liam, the few people I have asked about asexuality, they have never, or they don't believe it exists. Oh, bless you. Well, I'm really fortunate, Liam, that I've got, that when I talk about asexuality, asexuals managed to find me. Somehow I come across quite a lot of asexuals. And, I'm on ASAP, I'm on Asexuality, Acebook. So I'm on, dating sites and apps for app for asexuals. So obviously I talk to a lot of asexuals. Every single day I talk to asexuals. Like on my Facebook page, I've got asexuals commenting all the time. And I'm always like trying to talk to people in my groups as well, like sharing photographs and stuff. So, I'm fortunate in the fact I just surround myself with a lot of asexuals. When you surround yourself by a lot of asexuals, then, it's good. But like you've raised a good point, Liam, is the whole point is we've got to also get asexuality recognised outside of our community, not just within it. And, and I expect that a lot of haven't actually still heard of it, but they don't believe it is very difficult sometimes. I don't even bother with friendships. Oh, Liam. You don't bother with friendships. I really have met the most amazing friends through the asexual community, like friends I didn't expect, because when I was younger, in birth certificate age, I didn't have proper friends. I've got one best friend who isn't asexual. She's amazing, really incredible. Who I've been friends with for longer than I knew I was asexual. So 2012, I've been friends with her, and I found out I was asexual in 2014. So for 2 years, nearly, before I realised I was asexual. But yeah, I it's a shame you don't bother with friendships. I think, I mean, I love my friendships that I've got now. I wouldn't be without them. They are really rock to me. In the past, I had friendships that were very draining because they were very one-sided. I had people who weren't my true friends. It was all me doing a lot of the work, putting a lot of time, energy, and effort. And it's like, I don't have that type of friendship anymore. All my 3 friends, they put time, energy, and effort, some more than others. But also some other asexual friends that are not so close to, even they, they comment on my posts and, and they're just nice people. So I really like the fact that, I've made more friends, but people who understand me, because I think when you make asexual friends, it's really a different league of its own. You feel like, God, finally someone understands me. Finally someone I can relate to. Finally someone gets my mindset. Finally, And it's a shame, Liam, because I mean, obviously, I'd say you are a YouTube friend because I see you regularly on here. Do you know what I mean? And so, I know that I don't know your identity. I don't know what you look like. I don't know where you. I know you live in Ireland. That's about all I know. And I think you're 30, aren't you? 30 years old and you live in Ireland. I think that's about only information I know about you and your name, if it's your real name, because some people go under YouTube by different names, don't they? But yeah, I think it's nice that you obviously do bother to care about people because you go on the channel. I've seen you support a lot of other asexual channels as well. So, I mean, obviously there are people in other asexual channels that are in the comments that recognise asexuality, but it is still very difficult for us to get through to the sexuals, because like you say, a lot of them, they don't never, you know, they've never heard of it before, or they don't believe it, you know. Liam, all of the people I count as friends are YouTubers. I have never met like you. I am 34. Ah, right, okay. All of the people I count as friends are YouTubers. I've never met like you. I'm 34. Oh, right. I always think you're a bit younger than that, but that's great. But yeah, well, I think YouTubers are nice to have as friends. Kind of like, oh, thanks for the thumbs up. Like, kind of in your home, well, I'm in your home regularly. Like, I feel like kind of I live on my own, but I kind of live with a load of other people as well, because it's like I have people in my bedroom all the time with me, like through YouTube. So it's kind of like I'm single, highly single, live on my own, but I kind of like, I really like your company, you know. Like, for me doing this channel, I have to say, you know, it's pleasurable for me being able to like share stuff on this channel with you, because I feel very safe and secure with other asexuals on here, you know, even though I get people who are try to instigate their sexual stuff on me, and I won't have a bar of it. I count you as a friend. Oh, thank you, Liam. So you do bother with friendships. Thank you. That's nice. So you do bother with some friendships, just special friendships, isn't it? So I'm glad you count me as a friend. That's really nice, because I count you as a friend, you know, like you're a YouTube friend at least, you know. You know, because you're regularly popping on here, you know, and you know, sometimes I really, really just want to YouTube, like I want to be on here, you know, it's like really important to me, you know, and like my whole life is being recorded on this channel, you know, like since 2015. It's like, my God, it's 5 years, it's just flown by. And the majority of nights I've streamed. I know, like, this last year has been more difficult for me to stream every single night, because I have had things crop up like illness, and I've also had things like I've got a new day job now. I'm furloughed at the moment, but I've got because we're on lockdown in the UK again when I'm recording this in November 2020 live. But you know, so, and having a new job has really, really been quite physically, emotionally, and mentally demanding. So I have had to really adjust that, because I've been working from home for 3 years, going back into a full-time managerial position, which is a lot to learn, is kind of like really whoa, you know. And so sometimes I just come home and I've been really, really tired. Like, usually I can like stay up and got a lot of energy, but it does kind of zap your energy, that does. So, you know, I haven't been on here as many evenings as I like, because this is called a daily chat show, and I want to keep it to that as much as I can, you know. I feel a bit bad if there's a certain day that I just can't stream, but it was like last Friday I wasn't very well, and I just like literally 10:20 I was actually going to sleep, which is very unusual for me. But you know, when I say I wasn't very well, it was actually I was quite upset, if I'm honest. You know, I had a guy I was really interested in who was British, and things didn't work out with him, who's asexual, and it kind of broke my heart, really, and it was really upsetting for me. And so I was in a bit of a state on Friday. I was very upset still over that person, because I can't just like I can't just like my feelings off, you know. If I feel for a guy, real feelings, my feelings aren't fake. They're not something I've just got to, you know. I don't experience crushes, so I don't get this thing where it's a crush, you know, and I don't experience temporary fantasies or temporary feelings. If I feel for a guy, if I have feelings for a guy, that is genuine and they carry on. And even if the person I'm not talking to, it doesn't stop. Do you know what I mean? So I was in a bit of state on Friday. I'm a lot better now, because I kind of got all my tears out that night. But I was in a very bad way. My eye was really, I actually thought I might have an eye infection, because I was swollen up and I had pain all going down here and everything, which is horrendous, you know. But even though I had a lot of pain, I still believe in true love. Liam, like many other YouTubers, I miss you. Oh, thank you, Liam. That's really sweet. Lots of love to you. I mean, like, if you're not here, I do notice it. Like, I'm like, where's Liam? Do you know what I mean? I had to hear you upset. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was really like, I didn't talk about it till now, because I didn't know whether to mention it on this channel. I usually share everything on this channel anyway, but it's, you know, like, you know, I don't want to sugarcoat it. I don't want to pretend to be something I'm not. Like, I always talk the truth on this channel. You know, some people be like, "Oh, I'm over it now," but the truth is, I'm over more of it now. Like, I've got a lot of my emotions out. I'm unhooked myself a lot more from him spiritually, because I felt a connection with him. And so, you know, regardless of what's going on with him, that's what I felt. And well, I know you felt it too at the time. So it's been hard, you know, it has been really difficult. Friday I just was like crying and had to go to sleep. And so that's actually why I wasn't on this channel streaming. I felt, you know, bad, but there's no way. I was in such a state, but I was actually in physical pain. Like, the pain was going all the way from here all the way down the side of my nose, down my face. I was just in agony. I took a painkiller, it just didn't do anything really. So I just had to cry myself to sleep, which sounds really weird, especially as an adult. But I think, you know, you have to admit the truth about yourself. There's no point in lying and making up some fictitious bull rubbish, you know. And people that don't get their emotions out, it will bottle up inside. I know by having that night of being really upset and in pain and letting it all out that I feel much better now, because I've kind of been able to, I was kind of like touching on this last night, but not really going in depth about it. It's like when you've got a load of water and you've got a dam, and the dam walls are up, right? And that water is being contained in a container, right? And so for me, when I'm spiritually like and emotionally connected to someone, I feel like there's a connection, a deep connection, and like heart to heart, right? It's in that container. And if you do not open that down wall to the container, it will stay in that container, right? So the only way you can do it is lifting up that down wall, crying, which is in effect flooding out all that water. And therefore, the container is not containing that pain anymore, that upset. It's letting the water run free so that you can go and be in a more loving, happy, caring situation and be with someone who really loves you in the future. Because in order, like I've said a million times on this channel before, maybe not a million, that's a bit of exaggeration, but like I've said a lot of times on this channel before, you cannot have a good, healthy, happy relationship with someone in the future if you're still hankering after someone in the past. Now, I would say I'm not fully over this guy completely yet, right? I'm a lot more over him because I've unhooked myself now and I'm not crying anymore. And, you know, I can talk a bit more about it, but I've still got some pain there because I can still remember bits of it if I'm not careful, you know? So, and I've told the person in message, I said, I can't speak to you right now. I don't know when I'm going to be able to speak to next, because we were friends before, but I don't know if it can go back to that. It might never be able to go back to that way it was before, you know? Liam, watching this on my phone and I have to, watching this on my phone and have to charge it. Hope I'll be back. Love you, Sandra. Oh, thank you. Lots of love, Liam. Thank you for participating and being here for the 150,000 plus views episode. It's really nice of you because you're one of my main YouTube friends that's here a lot supporting this channel. So I really appreciate you. Yeah, so that's what I was doing, you know, like if I'm not on this channel, it's usually because I'm feeling really poorly. I'm just so tired. You know, I do feel bad if I don't stream. I feel bad, but sometimes I have to put my health first, or, you know, whatever's going on, I just have to take priority. So I have to, like, you know, not stream. And then I feel like, should I change the wording to say a daily chat show? But I still want it to be, and I still strive to be that. So at the moment, I want to keep it to the daily chat show because I miss it. If I'm not on here, I miss it. I feel bad. I'm like, this is my home. This is where I'm meant to be sharing my thoughts and feelings, you know, and emotions, and this is where I'm supposed to be sharing my own asexual life journey. Like, it's just categorically compulsory for me, you know. And so, you know, that's what actually happened, you know. Like, I don't want to sugarcoat it, you know. I think there's so much fear around sharing your truth, you know. There's so much fear around being open and honest about how you feel, you know, because I know relationships, or I wasn't in a relationship with this person, but it felt like it was to a lot of extent, because it was kind of like they were behaving like my boyfriend. I would expect a boyfriend to behave like my past boyfriends would, you know, for example, in some ways, you know. So it's very difficult, you know. I'm not saying it's not being difficult for them too. I don't, you know, I've told them, messaged them, and so I can't talk to them at the moment because they're just too upsetting. I'm grieving, you know, and that's me being my authentic self and honest, you know. You know, that's just the way it is. And I think there's such worry and fear around being yourself, especially on the internet. You know, it's like, oh, we've got to show this perfect, like, I'm over him now, like, I'm moving on, I'm over him, right? And I am over him a lot more, right? I can move on, but I know that I've got to still have time to heal, because I'm very aware of my feelings at the moment, and like I don't want to end up with a guy being really interested in another guy too soon, and it's really transfer of feelings. So that's what you can do, you know, you can take your feelings that you have for one person and transfer them onto the next person, because you've never really got rid of them in the first place. So, you know, in order to consciously move forward in your life, you need to be able to like analyze yourself and say, hey, you know, I've noticed these things about myself. I've noticed like, so I did, you know, I did message a guy. I messaged one on ASAP, I told you, and then I messaged another guy on an asexual dating site. But I'm kind of aware at the moment, I'm still not completely over this other person. And I'm messaging more British guys, which is weird because I've never been that attracted to British guys much. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, well, if I liked this British guy, then maybe I can like some other British guys. Maybe I'll just find out who else is available. Like, do you know what I mean? And I don't usually think British guys are that good looking. But you know, there's a couple that I've come across that aren't bad looking, and they live closer to me as well. But at the end of the day, you know, just because they're close to me and not bad looking doesn't mean to say they're going to be the right person for me. I mean, overall, I still prefer foreign guys in every way, really. But you know, I'm kind of thinking, well, if I could be with one British guy, possibly, you know, like why not open the kind of like gates to that a bit more, you know? And I believe everything happens for a reason, you know? And I believe like you grow in strength of character every time you feel pain and agony and it's upsetting, you know? Every time you get over that is a time when you rise up again and become a stronger person, you know? And it takes a great strength and courage to actually admit, God, I'm still grieving over this person. I've not fully got over them. I'm still having some pain there. I'm still having some emotional issues, you know? This is all about being adult and speaking your truth and being very, very aware of yourself. A lot of people in life, they aren't aware of themselves. They want to push their feelings down. They want to hide them, run from them, make out that they've taken a huge leap forward when really they're still like in that situation. So I don't want to sugarcoat it and say like love is just easy and relationships are great all the time, or you know, like even potential relationship, which is a potential, not an actual, you know. So you know, I think being honest with yourself and with people in life and is much better. Like I'd rather be my true authentic self, even if people judge me. It's like, fine, judge me all you want. At the end of the day, I'm being me. I'm being my authentic me, which is something a lot of people can't be because they're too scared, because they're too worried, because they get hurt. But even if I get hurt, I will still always rise up again. I'll still always be back here again because my mission's too big. Like I need to get asexuality recognised as a sexual orientation throughout the globe. Right? This is a big mission that's on my shoulders, right? I'm not saying other people are not raising awareness too. I'm just saying this is my personal mission, right? So at the end of the day, I'm always going to get up and be here because I've got a bigger mission than me. It's bigger than me. I'm one person. This is a mission for all asexuals I've got, you know, for me, for asexuals, you know, like being the face of asexuality, I guess, in the sexual world, because that's kind of like where I come from. I come from being with a heterosexual background, if you know what I mean. And so that's where I'm different to a lot of other channels, because I have had sex before. I have been in a lot of heterosexual relationships in the past, you know. I understand sexuals in that way, even though it's kind of like speaking a foreign language when you get into the asexual realm, you know. So I think it's very, very important that you give yourself time to move on, give yourself time to grieve and heal from people that are, you know, that are leaving your life or can't be in it as you wish them to be. And I think, you know, you just got to take your time, you know. Like I don't like to see myself crying, in the sense that I think it's really hard, you know, like kind of feels like your world's ending when it's not. And all I have to say on Fridays, you know, I just get all the crying out, just get it done, because I've been in my day job a lot lately. Like I have tried to kind of like, I've had to kind of like put the emotional stuff more to one side because I've had to go into work. Whereas like now I'm on furlough, I'm at home, I've had time to kind of release those emotions. And that's kind of why it's very difficult if you're working, you know, you kind of like need some time to relationship or potential relationship, a loss, grief. Do you know what I mean? And you can't really just take time off work for that. It's not something like, can I have time off work because I'm grieving over a relationship that didn't work out, or over a potential relationship that didn't work out? You know, you can't exactly say that, can you? But I think, you know, it's a very, very big thing. It's a big deal in someone's life. You know, it's not, for me, it's not that often that you find someone. I find I connect to quite a few guys, but there's not that many I connect to on that level with the chance of a real relationship, which is why I thought there was a chance, but in the end there ended up not being. So, you know, I've been on the asexual dating scene now for over 6 years, since 2014, like April 2014. So I know how rare that is. The other person didn't know because they're kind of like still newer to the community, so they probably don't value or appreciate really what was in front of them at the time so much, because they don't know that it's rare to get that, and they're on the more sexual end of the spectrum anyway, so they could probably be with a sexual person, or they think they could, but when it actually comes down to it and that person in front of them wanting sex all the time, it might be a different story. Do you know what I mean? But you know, I wish them well. I do wish them to find someone near them and to then be happy and have someone to love and cuddle and kiss. I really do. You know, I wish them well, and I wish myself well. I wish myself to find a good person for me. But at the end of the day, I'm so busy. Like, I went to the health shop to get some shampoo and conditioner, and the health shop guy, he's a guy who's local, and I've been talking to him for years. In the health shop, I have like kind of like a non-formal business type of relationship with him. And so, you know, he actually has my fibre book for sale in his shop. So, you know, he's a local small business, but I was talking to him and stuff and saying about everything I do, and he's just like, you know, with a full-time job as well now, and he's like, oh, you just don't have, you know, it's a good job you haven't got a boyfriend because you wouldn't have time for him. I said, yeah, I'll probably be able to see him twice a week at the most. And people don't realise, I said, a lot of the guys, they don't even realise if I give them some of my time, that's very precious, and it's very a big deal for me to do that for them. You know, some of them don't even realise that. They kind of think, oh yeah, Sandra, she'll just like speak to me, you know, like it's no big deal. But actually it's a really big deal if I schedule time in my day. Really big deal. So, you know, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart once again for being part of this asexual community, for enabling me to have over 150,000 views on this channel to help raise awareness of asexuality. For over the 800, there's currently 821 subscribers. So I love you all dearly, you know, and I want you to know that through the heartache and pain comes the gain, you know, and I'm so grateful and thankful that you're here. You know, I wouldn't change being asexual for the world, even though it's difficult, especially if you're looking for a romantic relationship. Even though it's hard, I wouldn't change it for the world. I don't want to be sexual. I don't want to be heterosexual. Doesn't appeal to me at all. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here, sharing my journey. And thank you so much, Liam, as always, for being an awesome friend in this chat. Thank you so much for everyone else who's watched. I know there's someone who watches this channel religiously. I don't know who you are, but thank you from the bottom of my heart. Lots of love to you. And I really appreciate your support. And I wish you the best. And thank you very much once again. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Share it if you wish to. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that great big bell icon so you get notified every time I go live like now, posting a video. I'm going to love you lots and leave you just for now. And I'll see you on the next video live stream. Take care. Embrace your quirky and each other's. Lots of love. Bye-bye. Bye.